All right, so this is how you can make some delicious scrambled eggs with caramelized onions, potatoes, and with cheese, along with toasted bread with avocado on top. And it might come out looking like complete and total slop like mine did, but hey, it was delicious regardless. So sit back and relax and let's get into it. So to prepare to make this exquisite meal, first we need our pan, and we need a secondary smaller pan, a sweet onion, a potato, a scrub brush for potato, eggs, of course, and we need a bowl for said eggs, a fork to stir around the eggs, some oil, a wooden spoon, some delicious bread of your choice that makes all 9,000 taste buds rejoice, some avocado for the toast, some salt, a battery, because why not, a piece of paper or something, some scissors to cut your hair later, some suntan lotion because it's gonna get hot when you are cooking, piece of plastic for whatever reason, some holy water, and some soap, along with an old ink container because it just, and a phone maybe to call your mother later and to give her a happy birthday card. So there you go. All right, so what I like to do first is get the pans on the stove and get some oil going. You will need a lot of oil for those caramelized onions. And I put the heat setting to medium heat for the onions and low heat for the taters. All right, so of course, next what you want to do is get your onion and you want to just start peeling that. I get out the inside first with a nice sharp knife and start peeling all the outer shell of the onion off, and you could just toss that into the garbage can. Also, I forgot to mention you do need a cutting board to cut the onion on. I forgot to mention this because I recorded all this footage like 3 or 4 years ago, and so I'm old. I can't remember things anymore, you know what I mean? As like my mom says, getting old is not for sissies. All right, so that's nice. Anyways, so what you want to do next is get your onion and start cutting it into many different pieces. What I like to do first is go straight down the middle and then take one of those halves like this and start slicing into several different pieces like this. And then turn all that clump on its side and go right down the middle through it like this. And do the exact same thing with the other half. Next, what I like to do is pour the onion slices into the pan and start stirring them around. You may need to add more oil in depending on the quantity and size of the onions, because cooking caramelized onions takes a lot of oil and a long time to cook. Let me tell you. That's why I work on the onions first. All right, so next what you want to do is get your sweet, sweet baby boy potato, run it under some water while you scrub it with that scrubby brush thingy. And then start cutting it. I like to cut it right down the middle like that, as you see. And then I like to cut it another half and then start cutting it into slices from there and do the same thing with the other half. Now, of course, next, just put those bad boys right into the other pan, start stirring them around, and if necessary, add a little bit more oil. And I like to cover the potatoes to keep the heat in, and I like to give the onions another stir. You're gonna wanna stir the onions periodically so they don't burn. And while those are cooking, I like to be proactive and do some dishes. All right, so after a while, your onions will start to look like this and your potatoes will start looking like this. Just make sure to stir them around every so often so they don't burn. And it will take a while for the onions to caramelize, maybe like 30, 40 minutes, depending on the heat and how much oil you have going. So just keep that in mind, but keep at it and they will become nice golden brown like that eventually. All right, moving on to the eggs. I find having a bowl on top of a plate is best because when you crack the eggs like this, any kind of egg yolk and all that kind of gunkiness will go onto the plate rather than your counter and yada yada. You don't have to clean up the counter. So yeah, just crack open these bad boys, give them a nice firm hit just like that onto the bowl, crack them open. And if you got any eggshells, make sure to take those out. It's a pain in the neck, but hey, as they say in French, ain't nobody got time for that. All right, now get your fork and start whipping those bad boys up until it becomes a nice liquid. And now all you gotta do is pour all those eggs right into that there pan with the onions. Mix your potatoes in as well. Put some cheese in if you want. And mix it all up. Simple as that. And you'll get a nice glumpity gloop. Just like that. And fun fact, if you do a little farming, you could take your eggshells and use it as compost. Give some of that there dirt outside, some delicious treats, you know what I mean? All right, anyway, so next what I do is toast up my bread. And once that's done, it's time to put the avocado on the bread. So get some avocado and slap some of that bad boy right on. In the process, you may have some avocado spill onto your plate, but that's just first world problems. And from there, I would like to just pour everything onto the bread because, you know, it's all going to the same place. So, and that's it. Enjoy. Have a nice life.